Have you ever felt like life is pushing you to your breaking point? Like you're standing in the middle of a storm, trying to hold it together, but everything just keeps falling apart? It's almost as if something bigger is going on. Like you're being tested, not tortured, shaped, not shattered. What if I told you you're not being punished, you're being prepared? Before we dive deep, if you've ever had a moment where you questioned God's timing, if you felt like giving up was easier than going on, this message, this exact moment, might be your turning point. Stick with me. And hey, if something in this resonates with you, hit that like button so more people who are quietly struggling can find this too. Let's begin. Most people don't recognize it until much later. But the delay, the detour, the heartbreak, the rejection, the silence, it wasn't random. It was sacred. Pain is often the disguise of preparation. Think about it. Why would God allow you to face so much adversity unless it was essential to your assignment? If you're feeling isolated right now, it might be because elevation requires separation. And when God wants to do something big in your life, He often starts with taking away everything small. But here's the catch most people miss. The wilderness is not a punishment. It's a classroom. It's where He teaches you to walk by faith and not by sight, where He strips away your false identity so He can reveal your true purpose, where He closes doors not to deny you, but to redirect you. So I want you to take a second and really feel this. If it feels like everything's crumbling, maybe, just maybe, God is rebuilding you not from the outside in, but from the inside out. That job that didn't work out, that relationship that ended in betrayal, that opportunity you were sure was yours but it slipped away? What if losing it was the only way to find who you were really meant to become? We love the mountaintops, the spotlight, the success stories. But the truth is, the anointing happens in the dark, in the crushing, in the hidden places nobody sees but God. And if you're in that dark place right now, confused, exhausted, misunderstood, you are not alone. In fact, you're in good company. Moses had to go through the wilderness. David was anointed but still hunted. Joseph had the dream but still landed in the pit and the prison before the palace. Because here's the truth no one likes to talk about. Before God elevates you, He empties you. Before He releases the blessing, He requires the breaking. Not to destroy you, but to prepare you to carry the weight of what's coming. See, we pray for destiny, but we rarely ask to be prepared for it. We want the calling, but not the crushing. We want the miracle, but not the silence before it. But what if that silence is not rejection, but refinement? Let me ask you this. Could it be that what you're calling failure is actually the foundation God is using to build something unshakable in your life? If this is speaking to your heart, drop a comment and let me know what season you're walking through right now. Don't do this alone. We are in this together, and someone else reading may need your story too. Let's go deeper. You've got to understand that when God is preparing you for something big, the enemy doesn't wait until you're successful to attack. He strikes while you're vulnerable, while you're unsure, while you're still learning how to believe in yourself. Because if he can break you in the becoming, you'll never step into what God has called you to be. But guess what? The enemy wouldn't be fighting you this hard if there wasn't something powerful on your life. Hell doesn't attack what isn't a threat. So maybe the resistance is the proof. The pressure is the confirmation. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not cursed. You're being positioned. And I know you might be saying, but I've been waiting so long. I've been doing everything right. Why isn't it happening yet? But God doesn't operate on your clock. He's not in a rush. He's not interested in giving you a blessing that you're not yet prepared to protect. Because favor without character is dangerous. Success without foundation is fragile. So if it feels like he's holding you back, maybe he's holding you together. Maybe he's not late. Maybe he's just building you slower so you can last longer. You don't plant a tree today and expect fruit tomorrow. The deeper the roots, the taller the tree. And God is making sure your roots are deep enough to handle the storm that comes with the blessing. Because when he finally opens that door, you won't have time to train. You need to be ready. So if it feels like you're stuck, maybe you're actually in a season of sacred stillness, a divine pause, a holy preparation. And that's why you can't quit now. You've come too far. The breaking point is almost always the birthing point. Keep showing up. Keep praying even when it feels like no one's listening. Keep sowing even when you're not seeing a harvest. Keep walking by faith, not by what you see. Because when God moves, it will happen suddenly, unexpectedly, supernaturally. And in that moment, everything will make sense. The pain will become purpose. The tears will turn into testimony. And you'll realize he wasn't ignoring you. He was preparing you. You're not disqualified. You're not forgotten. You're not behind. You are right on time for what God has called you to do. But you got to trust the process, even when you don't understand it. This is your season to stand, not to shrink, to believe, not to break. So don't give up now. Don't let go. Don't quit, because something big is coming. And when it does, you'll be glad you didn't walk away when it was hardest. Stick with this series. In part 2, we're going to uncover the specific signs that God is moving in your life, even when it feels like he's not. You don't want to miss it. And if this message lit something in your spirit, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for the full journey, because the breakthrough isn't coming, it's already in motion.
If you're still here, that tells me something about you. You're not just hoping for a breakthrough. You know deep down that something is shifting. Something is stirring. And even if you can't see it yet, your spirit can feel it. That's not delusion. That's discernment. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had that strange tension between peace and pressure? Like you're calm on the outside, but your soul is restless. That's not confusion. That's usually the signal that God is near, that he's doing something behind the scenes. So today, let's talk about the signs, the real, raw, unfiltered indicators that God is preparing you for something big, even when you feel lost in the waiting. And before we continue, if you've ever felt like you're in the in-between, not where you were, but not quite where you're going, hit that like button. Let's help someone else realize they're not alone either. Now, the first sign, unusual isolation. Suddenly, the people you once depended on seem distant. Friends start to fade. Conversations feel surface level. Even family might not understand you anymore. And you start asking, why am I feeling so alone? Because before God promotes you publicly, he often pulls you away privately. Why? Because he wants to become your only source. In this sacred isolation, he's stripping away your attachments, not to leave you empty, but to teach you how to be anchored in him. Your validation won't come from people anymore. It will come from purpose. The second sign? Your usual routine stops working. What used to bring you joy now feels dry. Your habits, your hustle, even your goals suddenly feel empty. That's not laziness, that's not depression, that's often divine discomfort. Because when God is shifting your season, he will start removing the grace from what no longer serves your next level. It's his way of pushing you out of comfort and into calling. That's why you can't cling to what was, when he's calling you to what is. And I know that can feel confusing, painful even, but that inner frustration isn't failure, it's formation. Here's a third sign God is preparing you for something big: increased spiritual warfare. Things just start to go wrong. Your finances take a hit, your mind is under attack, your relationships feel unstable, you start to doubt yourself in ways you never have before. Why? Because the enemy always fights hardest when you're closest to your breakthrough. He doesn't waste resources on people who aren't a threat. So, if you're feeling pressure on all sides, it could mean you're exactly where you need to be. And here's the thing about pressure. It doesn't just break things. It also forms diamonds. So when the attacks come, Don't retreat. Don't shrink. Lean in. That pressure is creating something powerful inside you. Now here's a fourth sign God is preparing you for something big. You start to lose interest in pleasing people. This one's subtle but powerful. You no longer care about fitting in. You stop explaining yourself. You stop seeking approval. Why? Because something inside of you is aligning with your assignment. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break chains. And to do that, you'll need the courage to walk away from crowds that never saw you clearly in the first place. If that resonates with you, I want you to drop the word alignment in the comments, because that's the word for this season. Divine alignment. God is not just preparing a place for you. He's preparing you for that place. But He won't let you step into it with old patterns, old mindsets, and old dependencies. You've got to be made new. And one of the most unexpected signs of preparation is closed doors. When we think of divine favor, we usually imagine open doors, green lights, fast answers. But sometimes the greatest evidence that God is moving is that nothing seems to be moving. The interview doesn't call back. The opportunity falls through. The timing feels off. But don't confuse delay with denial. God isn't just in the yes, He's also in the not yet. Because the truth is, not all closed doors are the enemy. Some are God's mercy. Some are Him protecting you from what looks good, but would have drained your soul dry. Some are Him redirecting you to something greater than you had the courage to pray for. So if you're facing more no's than yeses lately, you might be in the middle of divine redirection. And the last sign I'll give you in this part, and it's a big one, is a deep hunger for more. Not more money, not more applause, not even more success, but more meaning, more truth, more God. You start craving depth. You find yourself waking up wondering if there's something greater for your life. You start asking bigger questions, and you stop being satisfied with shallow answers. That hunger, that restlessness, it's holy. It means your soul is waking up to its assignment. God will let you get uncomfortable in the shallow end because He's calling you into deeper waters. But here's the part you have to get. Most people miss their breakthrough not because they're unworthy, but because they quit too soon. The signs are everywhere. The signals are clear, but the road feels too long. The silence feels too loud, and the pressure just feels too much. So they settle. They go back. They shrink. But not you. You've seen too much, felt too much, sacrificed too much. You know you weren't created just to survive, but to shift atmospheres, to build something eternal, to become a vessel for something greater. And even if no one claps for you right now, even if no one gets it, God does. And He's watching, not to judge you, but to see if you're faithful when no one else is watching, because those are the ones He can trust with destiny. So don't let the silence fool you. Don't let the delay discourage you, and don't let the pain push you away from the very promise you've been praying for. Because what you're going through is not random. It's not punishment. It's preparation. And in the next part of this journey, we're going even deeper into what it actually feels like when God starts pulling you into purpose, the inner tension, the sudden shifts, the supernatural alignments. So stay with me. If this message spoke to you, subscribe and share it. Someone you love might be standing on the edge of giving up, and your share might just pull them back. Remember, God is not just preparing the blessing. He's preparing you to sustain it. Don't quit yet.
Let's talk about what it feels like when God is pulling you into purpose. Not what it looks like from the outside, not the Instagram highlight reel, but the real thing. The messy, confusing, overwhelming in-between where nothing makes sense, but something inside of you refuses to go back. That feeling? That tension?
That war between who you used to be and who you're becoming, it's not anxiety, it's awakening. And once God starts awakening your spirit to your assignment, there's no going back to normal. He ruins the taste of mediocrity forever. But here's the hard truth no one wants to say out loud. Purpose isn't just inspiring, it's inconvenient. Before we go further, if you've ever been in that awkward phase where your dreams feel too big for the people around you, but too small compared to the pain you've endured, click the like button. You're not crazy. You're evolving. Now, let's dig deeper into the emotional side of this transformation. One of the clearest indicators that God is calling you higher is the tension between clarity and chaos. You get moments of crystal clear vision. You suddenly know what you're called to do, where you're meant to go, what you must leave behind. And then, right after that, everything in your life seems to fall apart. Sound familiar? That's not a contradiction. That's confirmation. See, once you start walking in divine clarity, chaos comes to test it. Why? Because vision without resistance isn't real yet. It's still theory. God allows the chaos, the confusion, the delays, the discomfort to strengthen your conviction. It's easy to have faith when everything's aligned, but real purpose is forged in the fire. When nothing looks like it's working, but you keep going anyway. And that's exactly why most people stop right here. The tension becomes too much. Because here's what no one tells you about stepping into purpose. You will grieve your old life. You'll grieve the version of you who didn't know better. You'll grieve the comfort of your old habits, your old friends, your old mindset. You'll grieve the parts of yourself that felt safe, even if they were sabotaging you. Growth always costs you something, and purpose will cost you everything that isn't aligned. But that's not punishment. That's refinement. God doesn't just want to use the strongest parts of you. He wants to redeem the broken ones too. He wants to take your pain and turn it into power, your flaws and turn them into fuel, your wounds and turn them into wisdom. But first, he breaks the illusion that you need everyone to like you, the illusion that you have to have it all figured out before you start, the illusion that peace means ease. Let me say this clearly. Purpose is not always peaceful. Sometimes walking in your calling will look like walking alone. Sometimes obedience will look like disobedience to the world. Sometimes the people closest to you won't get it, and they're not supposed to, because purpose is personal before it's public. So if you're feeling misunderstood right now, I want to encourage you. It's okay. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to be obedient to the one who called you. Drop obedience over approval in the comments if that's where you're at right now. Now let's talk about another emotional layer of this transformation, the supernatural pull. It's hard to describe, but if you felt it, you know what I mean. That moment when your spirit is stirred for no apparent reason. You're driving, or washing dishes, or lying in bed, and suddenly it's like the atmosphere shifts. You feel the weight of destiny on your chest, like something big is coming, like God is calling you out of the shallow and into the deep. That pull isn't pressure, that's invitation. An invitation to stop playing small. An invitation to stop shrinking to fit into rooms you've outgrown. An invitation to trust God more than your logic. See, we want purpose to make sense, but faith doesn't operate in formulas. It moves through flow. And when God starts pulling you, it's not always going to feel logical. Sometimes it'll feel foolish. He'll tell you to apply for something you feel unqualified for. He'll nudge you to walk away from something everyone else applauds. He'll prompt you to give, to move, to build when your circumstances scream, "Not now." And here's where it gets even deeper. God will ask for obedience before understanding. He won't always give you the full picture, just the next step. Because if you had all the details, you'd try to control it. And he's not looking for control, he's looking for trust. So don't be surprised when your next move doesn't come with a 5-year plan. Sometimes the only confirmation you'll get is the piece that makes no sense.
Peace that shows up when you walk away from the deal everyone else would kill for. Peace that holds you when you say no to what almost felt right. Peace that whispers, "This is the way," even when no one else can see it yet. That's God. That's Him leading you, molding you, preparing you. And the most powerful thing you can do in that moment is say yes. Not yes to clarity, not yes to comfort, but yes to calling. Even when it costs you, even when it scares you, even when it means you have to walk away from what you thought you wanted in order to step into what God knows you need. And that kind of yes, that kind of surrender, it unlocks doors no man can close. It shifts the atmosphere around you. It activates things in the spirit that logic can't explain. And it starts a chain reaction that leads to destiny. So if you're feeling the pull right now, don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it away. Don't silence it with busyness or noise. Sit with it. Listen. And then obey. Because here's the truth. The longer you wait to step into your calling, the louder your discomfort will grow. You'll keep feeling off. You'll keep getting signs. You'll keep encountering situations that feel like divine interruptions, because they are. God isn't trying to frustrate you. He's trying to free you. So maybe the tension isn't a problem. Maybe it's a portal to your next level, to your real identity, to the person God saw all along before the trauma, before the failure, before the fear. And if you can just hold on, trust Him, and take that next step, everything will begin to align. Because when God starts a work in you, He always finishes it. He's not preparing you for scraps. He's preparing you for legacy. But you have to answer the call even before it makes sense. In Part 4, we're going to talk about how to hold your faith when nothing's working and how to recognize the breakthrough zone right before everything shifts. You don't want to miss it. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and share this with someone else in the fire, someone else in transition, someone else right on the edge of stepping into their something big. This isn't the end of your story. This is the plot twist.
Let's get honest. What do you do when you've been faithful and nothing is working? You've prayed, you've fasted, you've stayed obedient, you've kept your heart clean, and still the breakthrough hasn't come. You look around and see everyone else catching momentum. Doors are opening for them. Blessings are flowing. But for you, silence. You start to question, did I miss something? Did I hear God wrong? Am I even on the right path? Let me tell you something that might just shift everything for you. The breakthrough zone is the most silent, the most still, and the most spiritually intense place you'll ever walk through. Because right before the harvest, the soil looks dead. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something is happening underground. Before we continue, if this is hitting home, like it's reading your season word for word, drop a fire in the comments so I know I'm talking to the right people. Because today, we're going to unpack what's really happening when everything seems to stand still, and how to hold on to faith when nothing around you makes sense. Here's the truth. When God is about to do something big in your life, everything will test your belief. Not just your belief in Him, but your belief in yourself. The moment you start stepping into alignment, the enemy will attack your identity. You're not ready. You're too late. You're not enough. But listen to me. The enemy wouldn't be whispering lies if you weren't already dangerously close to destiny. That voice isn't there to guide you. It's there to derail you. Because the enemy's goal is not to destroy your dream. It's to make you quit on it. Let's make something clear right now. Delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. In fact, some of God's greatest blessings are slow cooked because what He's building in you requires strength, maturity, and weight. He's not preparing you for a moment. He's preparing you for legacy. And that kind of legacy, it doesn't come cheap. Let me give you a visual. Have you ever seen a bow being drawn? The further it's pulled back, the greater the force of the release. So if you feel like your life is being pulled back, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, maybe God is just building up the tension. So when he does release you, you launch forward with supernatural speed. But here's the problem most people face. They jump out of the bow too soon. They panic in the pressure. They mistake silence for abandonment. They walk away from the process right before it bears fruit. Because breakthrough doesn't feel like fireworks at first. It feels like frustration. It feels like nothing is working. It feels like closed doors. It feels like being overlooked, underestimated, misunderstood. But you know what that is? That's the test. And how you respond to the silence determines what you're ready for. Will you trust God when he's quiet? Will you stay faithful when no one's clapping for you? Will you keep building when nobody sees what you're doing? Because if you can remain faithful in obscurity, God can trust you with influence and visibility. Let me say that again. If you can be faithful in private, God will release you in public. But first, he watches how you handle the waiting room. Now, here's where most people miss it. They think faith is about feeling good, but faith doesn't always feel good. Faith is a choice, not a mood. Faith says, even if it looks like nothing is moving, I'm going to keep walking. Faith says, even if the doors keep closing, I'll keep knocking. Faith says, even when I don't see the results, I trust the root system is growing. Because let's get real, even Jesus had to wait. He was 30 before he started his ministry. Moses wandered for 40 years. Joseph sat in prison. David was anointed king, then went back to tending sheep. Why? Because preparation takes time. And here's something deep I need you to catch. God isn't just preparing the thing for you, he's preparing you for the thing. You want the platform, but can you handle the pressure? You want the blessing, but can you carry the weight? You want the influence, but can you stay humble when no one's watching? That's why this season matters. It's not wasted, it's working. God is using the silence to purify your motives. He's using the delay to strengthen your discipline. He's using the discomfort to stretch your capacity. Because when the breakthrough comes, you won't have time to get ready. You'll have to be ready. So if you're in the waiting room, worship there. If you're in the hallway between closed doors, praise him there. If you're walking through fire, know that fire is refining you, not destroying you. This moment right now is not a dead end. It's a setup. And the only way you'll lose is if you quit. So don't quit, not now, not after all this. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You're in the final stretch, the stretch where everything feels hardest, the stretch where your strength is tested, the stretch where your belief has to be louder than your doubt. Because right beyond this stretch is the shift. And when it comes, it will happen fast. The healing, the open door, the favor, the alignment, it will come so suddenly you'll wonder how you ever doubted. But only if you stay in position. Only if you refuse to let go of the promise just because the process feels heavy. Only if you stop asking how long and start declaring, I'm being prepared. So let's make this a declaration right now. Type it in the comments if this is for you. I won't quit. I'm not buried. I'm planted. And I'm ready for my breakthrough. Say it again. Feel it in your spirit. You're not stuck. You're being staged. You're not forgotten. You're being fortified. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. In part 5, we're going to talk about divine acceleration, how God can restore years in a moment, and what to do when everything finally starts happening fast. Stay with me. We're just getting started.
You've waited. You've wrestled. You've walked through the valley. And now, something shifts. You start waking up with energy again. Ideas come out of nowhere. Doors that were shut tight begin to creak open. Conversations begin to align. You look around and realize things are finally moving. But it's not luck. It's not coincidence. It's divine acceleration. And I need you to understand this. When God moves, He doesn't play by human timelines. He doesn't need 10 years to fix what's been broken. He doesn't need permission from anyone to promote you. He can restore what was lost in a moment. Before we go deeper, if you've ever felt like you wasted time, like you missed your chance, your season, your opportunity, I want you to hit that like button right now, because this part is especially for you. Now here's the truth. When the time is right, God will move quickly. So quickly, it'll make your head spin. That relationship you prayed for, suddenly it shows up, healthy, aligned, peaceful. That job you thought was long gone, a new one appears, better than anything you applied for. That purpose you've been wrestling with in silence, it starts unfolding publicly, effortlessly. Because God is not slow, He's strategic. He was never withholding from you, He was preparing you for it. See, we want the blessing, but God knows that if we get it too soon, it can break us. That's why He doesn't just give you what you ask for, He prepares you to keep it. And when He knows you're ready, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, He releases it with acceleration. Think about it. Joseph went from prisoner to prime minister overnight. David went from shepherd to king suddenly. Esther went from orphan to queen in a moment. In you, you're next. But divine acceleration doesn't look like hustle. It looks like alignment. You don't have to force it. You don't have to manipulate it. You don't have to beg for it. When it's your time, you'll know because God will breathe on the thing. What you used to struggle with becomes simple. What used to be delayed starts arriving with ease. People you once chased now find you. Opportunities you weren't qualified for now come to you. That's what happens when heaven backs your assignment. But here's the catch most people miss. You must be prepared to handle the speed. Because when acceleration starts, it doesn't come with warnings. It comes with responsibility. More favor means more focus. More open doors means more discernment. More influence means more integrity. So if you've been in a slow season, trust that God was teaching you how to carry the weight of what's coming. You were in training, not punishment. You were learning how to stay humble, how to hear His voice, how to operate without needing applause. Because when the spotlight hits, you won't have time to build character, you'll need to already have it. Let me say this clearly. Don't just pray for the blessing. Pray for the discipline to sustain it. Divine acceleration without preparation is a setup for burnout. But divine acceleration after refinement, that's legacy. That's when your story becomes proof that God doesn't need a perfect past, just a surrendered heart. Now, I want to prepare you for something that often happens in this season. When things start moving, it won't just attract the blessing, it will attract pressure. New doors bring new challenges. People will question how you got there. Some will resent your rise, especially those who saw your struggle but never believed in your purpose. But don't let the chatter distract you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the favor on your life. Let your fruit speak for itself. Because favor can't be faked, and calling can't be copied. So when the acceleration comes, stay grounded. Remember what it felt like when you had nothing. Stay grateful. Stay prayerful. Stay private with your process. God is not just taking you to a new level. He's calling you to steward that level well. If this is starting to stir something in your heart, drop "I'm ready" in the comments. Now here's something you must prepare for. Acceleration often feels overwhelming at first. Why? Because when you've been in survival mode for years, sudden blessings feel suspicious.
You'll catch yourself second-guessing good things. You'll wonder if it's too good to be true. You might even self-sabotage, not because you're not ready, but because you're not used to ease. That's why God had to heal you in the waiting. Not just your mind, not just your faith, but your capacity to receive. Because one of the most underrated forms of faith is the ability to accept the blessing without guilt. To say, yes, this is for me. To stop disqualifying yourself. To stop shrinking when the door finally opens. To step in boldly, knowing that what God started, He's going to finish. And listen, there's one more thing about acceleration you have to know. When the favor hits, move with it. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink it. Don't ask 10 people for their opinion. When God opens the door, walk through it. Because some windows of opportunity don't stay open forever. And delayed obedience is still disobedience. You've already done the hard part. You waited, you endured, you didn't give up when you had every reason to. Now it's time to receive. Not with fear, not with shame, but with boldness. The same God who kept you in the fire is now calling you to walk on water. And when He calls, everything changes. So what does divine acceleration look like practically? It looks like the right mentor showing up out of nowhere, a random email turning into your biggest breakthrough, that creative idea you sat on for years suddenly taking off, connections aligning, resources multiplying, peace returning. And it's not random. It's the fulfillment of every quiet seed you planted in the dark. Every moment you chose faith over fear. Every day you showed up without applause. Every tear you cried behind closed doors. It was never wasted. It was recorded. And now it's being rewarded. In part 6, we're going to talk about something powerful. How to protect what you've prayed for. How to maintain the momentum, avoid sabotage, and live in alignment with what God gave you. Because the blessing isn't just about getting it, it's about keeping it. So if you're feeling the speed pick up, if life is finally catching wind, now is not the time to get casual. It's time to get laser focused. Stay with me. The next part will show you how to protect everything God is about to release.
Let's get real. Receiving the blessing is one thing. Keeping it, that's something else entirely. Because once God releases the thing you've been praying for, your greatest test begins. Not the test of patience anymore, but the test of protection. What you prayed for is sacred. It's not just a job, not just a relationship, not just a platform. It's purpose. And what's sacred must be guarded. Let's dive deep into this. If you've ever found yourself asking, now that I have it, how do I not lose it? This part is your answer. And if this resonates, hit that like button and comment "Protect the Promise" so I know we're walking together. Here's the truth. Not everyone will celebrate your elevation. In fact, some people will only have clapped for your brokenness. Because as long as you were struggling, they felt safe. But the moment you start thriving, building, healing, succeeding, that's when the shade shows up. The criticism, the fake support, the subtle jealousy. You've got to get comfortable with this truth. Elevation comes with exposure. And when God begins to elevate you, it will expose everything. The motives of people around you, the cracks in your character, the places in your heart that still need healing. That's why protection starts with discernment. Just because someone claps doesn't mean they're for you. Just because someone prays with you doesn't mean they're called to walk with you. Not everyone who was part of your waiting season is meant to be part of your winning season. God isn't being cruel when He removes people. He's being merciful. Some connections were only meant to be scaffolding, temporary structures to help build your foundation. But once the structure is set, the scaffolding has to come down. So stop trying to carry everyone. Stop trying to explain your favor. Stop apologizing for the way God decided to bless you. Favor is God's decision. Your job is to protect what He gave you. And you do that by setting boundaries. Boundaries with your time. Boundaries with your energy. Boundaries with your access. Because the enemy doesn't need to destroy you. He just needs to distract you. One wrong conversation can plant a seed of doubt. One toxic voice can derail your clarity. One compromise can cost you momentum. So in this season, you must become unshakably focused. Focus is spiritual warfare. Clarity is protection. Discernment is survival. Let's get practical here. If you want to protect what you prayed for, there are 3 things you must learn to say boldly. No. No to draining invitations. No to unnecessary drama. No to anything that pulls you away from peace. I need space. To think. To breathe. To reset. That's not aligned with who I'm becoming. Because if it doesn't align, it distracts. And in this season, you can't afford distractions dressed as opportunities. Now, protecting the blessing isn't just about guarding it from people. It's also about guarding it from you. Let's be honest, self-sabotage is real. We pray for love and push it away when it shows up. We pray for success and doubt we deserve it when it finally arrives. We pray for peace and then invite chaos back because it feels familiar. You've got to confront the parts of you that are addicted to struggle. Because sometimes when you've lived in pain for too long, peace feels uncomfortable. Don't confuse peace with boredom. Don't confuse rest with laziness. Don't confuse ease with danger. Some of you are walking into a soft season, and it's scaring you. You're not used to not being stressed. You're not used to waking up without survival mode activated. You're not used to being loved without pain attached. But this new version of you, the one who doesn't chase chaos, the one who walks in favor without fear, that's the version you prayed for. So protect it, nurture it, let it grow. That means upgrading your self-talk. No more saying, I don't deserve this. I'm not ready. I'm probably going to mess this up. Start declaring, I was born for this. I am prepared for what I prayed for. I can handle the weight of the blessing. Because God didn't bless you by accident. He saw something in you before you ever saw it in yourself. And now, He's trusting you to carry it. So protect your habits. The habits that got you here, don't let them slip. Stay consistent in your prayer life. Stay disciplined in your routines. Stay rooted in gratitude. Because momentum is fragile. It doesn't die overnight, it fades through neglect. Stay hungry, stay humble, but also stay bold. Because when God opens a door, the enemy will always send something to make you question it. So here's a powerful strategy. Every time something amazing happens, expect resistance. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're finally doing something right. You want confirmation that you're in alignment? Watch for the warfare. That tension is proof you've stepped into new territory. But you didn't come this far to shrink. You didn't survive hell just to second-guess heaven. So when the blessing comes, don't flinch. Don't question it. Don't analyze it to death. Protect it. Hold it sacred. Guard it with your habits. Cover it in prayer. And don't waste time explaining it to people who aren't assigned to it. Remember this. The blessing isn't just about you. It's about who will be blessed through you. You are a vessel, a bridge, a light. You were never meant to just receive favor. You were meant to multiply it. But first, you've got to steward what you've already been given. That means managing it wisely. That means protecting your peace. That means pruning what no longer belongs even if it hurts. God doesn't elevate us for ego. He elevates us for impact. And if you stay obedient, stay humble, stay focused, the very thing He gave you will continue to grow beyond your wildest imagination. In Part 7, we're closing this journey with power. We're going to talk about how to walk fully in your assignment, how to live boldly, love fearlessly, and move with unshakable purpose. Because this isn't just a season. This is the beginning of a new era. And it's your time.
This is it, the final stretch, the moment where everything we've talked about, the preparation, the silence, the isolation, the pressure, the sudden acceleration, the protection, culminates in your assignment. And now, it's time to walk boldly in it. But listen, this isn't about hype. This isn't about inspiration for a few days. This is about transformation for the rest of your life. You've come too far to play small now. God has been building you, shaping you, testing you, not just so you could get through it, but so you could rise from it and help others do the same. So today we talk about how to walk in your assignment with clarity, confidence, and conviction. And if you're still here, if you've made it through all the fire and pressure and pruning, hit that like button and drop in the comments, "This is my era." Because it is. No more waiting to be ready. No more asking for permission. No more second-guessing the call. This is the moment you step fully into who God made you to be. Let's start here. Your assignment is not always what you do. It's who you become. It's not always tied to your career or your platform or your title. Your real assignment is how you carry light in a dark place. It's how you walk with peace when chaos surrounds you. It's how you love when the world expects hate. It's how you keep showing up when quitting would be easier. That is the essence of purpose. And the beautiful thing is, your entire journey so far has been equipping you for this exact moment. Those battles, they weren't just pain. They were preparation. Those delays, not denials, but divine development. That heartbreak, it didn't break you. It broke the parts of you that couldn't go where you're headed. Because real purpose starts when comfort ends. And now, God is calling you into a version of yourself that no longer hides, no longer shrinks, no longer conforms. This version of you is a threat to fear, to mediocrity, to every generational curse you were born to break. But listen carefully. Walking in your assignment means walking with intentionality. You can't live on autopilot anymore. You can't just go with the flow. You can't let people, platforms, or pain dictate your pace. When you're living in purpose, you move different. You speak with power, not because of volume, but because of truth. You lead with peace, not because life is easy, but because your foundation is strong. You build in silence and let the fruit speak for itself. You listen more than you prove. You trust more than you panic. You become the person you used to only pray to meet. And here's where the shift happens. You no longer chase things, you attract them. Because your frequency has changed. You don't beg for love, you embody it. You don't seek validation, you own your worth. You don't hustle for visibility, you carry presence. That's the power of living an assignment. But let me prepare you. Walking in purpose also requires constant surrender. Surrender to the process, surrender to the timing, surrender to the refinement. You don't get to skip the uncomfortable parts. You don't get to outrun your healing. You don't get to fake peace. Because when God uses you, He uses all of you. The beautiful, the broken, the brave, the scared. Your scars become strategy. Your story becomes someone else's survival guide. Your mess becomes your ministry. But only if you stop running and start standing. Stand in the calling. Stand in the truth. Stand in the unshakable knowing that you were made for this. Say it out loud with me. I was born for this. I am equipped. I am aligned. I am dangerous to darkness. I will not waste what I've walked through. Let it sink in. Now here's one more thing that most people miss. Purpose
doesn't need applause. It needs obedience. Some days no one will clap, no one will repost, no one will understand why you're doing what you're doing. And that's okay, because obedience isn't about being seen, it's about being sent. You're not here to impress, you're here to impact. And the greatest impact often happens in quiet, unnoticed acts of faith. That prayer you whispered when no one saw you crying. That act of kindness that didn't go viral. That decision to walk away from toxicity when no one cheered. God saw it all. And heaven keeps better records than earth. So keep sowing, keep showing up, keep saying yes even when it's hard. Because the ripple effect of your obedience will outlive you. That's legacy. And one last word for you. If you've made it this far in the message, you're not just hungry for motivation, you're ready for movement. You're not just hoping something good happens, you're preparing to become something unstoppable. So I need you to stop disqualifying yourself. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too inexperienced. You're not too far behind. You're exactly where God wants you. And if you stay faithful, stay available, and stay teachable, there is nothing He won't do through your life. This isn't just the season. It's a shift. It's the birthing of a new identity, the start of an anointed chapter, the unfolding of a calling that has been waiting for you to finally say yes. So take a breath. Take that step, and take this truth with you. God has already gone before me. I'm not walking into the unknown. I'm walking into my assignment. Now go live like it. And if this 7-part journey lit a fire inside you, if it reminded you that your waiting wasn't wasted and your pain has a purpose, then do 2 things. Share this message with someone who's on the verge of quitting, someone who needs to be reminded they were called before they were ever criticized. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this isn't the end. It's the beginning of a channel dedicated to helping people rise into their divine assignment with boldness, healing, clarity, and fire. You've been prepared. You've been positioned. And now it's time to possess the promise. Don't quit now. The shift is here. This is your era. Let's go.